Hey guys, it's me Kyosuke here, and I have with me today Alex.
Heyo.
So it's just us today, and ironically, we're actually going to be talking about deaths in anime, like the death of Chat, which is this voice call. So yeah, if it so beginning it before the call, because we always have a pre-chat call. The first thing that popped into my head about deaths in anime would have to be Death Note, where just both the original main antagonist and the original protagonist die,
Yep.
as well as various other characters, as the name implies. The only one who walks away unscathed is the main antagonist ripoff and the Death God. Everyone else has personal issues they have to work out that never get addressed because they're not like Yagami.
Pretty
So
much.
yeah, personally, if they had stopped at the death of L and just left you to imagine what happened, I think Death Note would have ended much better.
Well, that's because the first half of the series is so much better than the second half.
Not to mention that I don't care what L said, even if those two dork apprentices he had put their brains together, they couldn't match L, or even half of Light.
Pretty
Like,
much. Yeah.
and if
Um,
we're being real here, I don't care if Mello was a hot-headed idiot. He seemed like the more intelligent one. He got way farther than anything Nier did until after Mello died, stealing the information actually that Mello got. So,
anyway. Um, yeah. Uh, Talking Death Note, I think that um, the fact that literally half of the series is after the time skip almost ruined the direction that the series was going in the first place.
it
Uh,
felt like a different series entirely.
yeah. Um, it's not to
Well,
say it's not
oh,
to say go.
I was just gonna finish my sentence saying, well, actually, it's one third, but who's counting?
Yeah.
So continue.
Anyway, that's not to say that the second half isn't good because it is. It's just not nearly as good as, the first part.
Yeah, I agree. It kind of felt like okay. So I'm not saying it's this much of a change, but when Shippuden changed direction, right? It like
Yeah.
how it felt like a different series. I kind of think it was like that. Oh, by the way, our one viewer is Green Jow Jagger Jacks.
Oh, okay.
I
Shout out to that
agree,
guy.
Jow. So, anyways, yeah, back to Death Note. So, yeah, personally, I okay. So the way that one was written, it felt like it was really trying to push that you should dislike Light and you should like
Well,
these two new protagonists or rather antagonists they brought in, and I'm like, but they're not Light. So, what's your opinion on this? You were saying something.
um, I don't necessarily think you're wrong with that, but um, it, the second half almost takes away from, Light's original vision and,
Yeah.
just plays up the crazy.
Well, all of season one, even if he did get crazy at the end, he was still doing his vision.
Yes. Whereas season two, um, I mean, the second half, it's
Like he became some sort of dictator in a way.
kind of, but it's more like, oh, so this is the way, his plan winds up playing out. This isn't as entertaining as I thought it would be, you know,
Actually, Ryuk.
more or less.
Like, man, I think, yeah, yeah. So Yeah, Shinigami, shout out to Ryuk, just completely betraying his bro, who fed him apples.
Yes,
Oh, Ryuk.
it got boring. He lost.
Yep. But, like, the lawyer needed to not scream that you are my master. And Light needed to not ever associate himself with that freaking lawyer. God. There's, if Light wasn't giving his thing off to people like it was a sexually transmitted disease, then he would have been fine. Like, season one Light, he keeps the Death Note to himself and then hides it from himself, making sure he's only dealing with it himself. But in season two, he just seems to give it to everyone so that they can each write the goddamn book. And yes, you could argue that, like, he's passing judgment through someone else, but, like, that's it made him lose.
Yes, it did. Um,
British Senpai joined the call, but she's not British or a Senpai, so we can ignore her.
um, um, yeah.
British Senpai go too hard. Yeah. So, British Senpai, are you going to keep your mic muted? I know you're British, Grimjow. Stop messaging me. We're in a live stream.
I did not know my mic was muted.
Well, it's not muted now. Uh,
Yep.
Topic is deaths in anime. We're talking Death Note right now.
Oh. Okay,
That
cool.
sounded like I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm going to go back to muting my mic and just pretend to be in this call.
Anyway,
Oh.
low key, I think that Light got skittish after, L just completely shows him up in like the second, episode or whatever,
Uh-huh.
where he's like, oh, yeah, I broadcasted this thing, planning to do so in a bunch of target areas, but the fact that you totally killed this guy right here, well,
That means you're in the tri-state area of this place.
yeah,
Excuse me.
I
And
think
Light's just
low
like,
key, if that wasn't how, L made his debut, Light would have been
all over the
he would have
place.
himself a little more.
Mm.
But L totally shows him up because hashtag L is better than Near and Mellow.
Mm-hmm.
I like how he kills Mello like an episode after his introduction. Mello shows up, we're like, who is this guy who looks like he's a gay stripper? And then he kidnaps the dude, and then he finds the Death Note. If I'm remembering correctly, he eats chocolate and then dies. That's literally all I remember. I was like 8th grade watching this in my garage, and I'm like, who are you? Same response to Nier. Why did you add Grimchow to this chat? This chat
Because
is
he
for...
wanted to.
My god. British Senpai, you seem to like that boot I showed you. Would you care to get a clip for inspection?
I seem to like the what?
Oh god, Alex, that would have been perfect if I just kicked it right then.
You said I seem to like the what?
The boot.
The boots?
The boot. I showed you the boot. And you yelled at me for it.
I am here till Sunday. Trust and believe I will find you.
You will not find me. You're full of empty threats. Mute Spike. Went to go cry. She went to go cry. I hurt her feelings.
Rip. Anyway,
Back to Death Note.
yeah. Death Note is, a pretty good series to talk about this topic with because lots of people die.
Oh yeah, lots of different styles too. I like how Light at the beginning was just experimenting in the most ridiculous ways.
Yeah.
Oh man. So British Empire has got to go. Peace. I should have just kicked her. Gosh, there
Much
goes my
a,
opportunity. Ugh.
um,
Wow, this is a more lively Annie chat than some of the ones in the past, and it's just me and Alex.
yeah. Um, yeah. The interesting thing about Death Note is exactly how key just indiscriminately killing people is to the plot. Like, uh, back in part one when there was that one
Chick?
Asian chick,
Yeah, she was a
like,
former secret agent, and her husband was a secret agent, and her husband went missing. And Light, okay, that episode was so good. As Light, in like this 20-minute period of time, talks his way into her real name.
yes,
And like when he does it, and when she figures out he's Kira, and when she's about to die in 10 seconds, that scene of pure silence where Light is smiling and her mouth just opens in horror is the best thing.
yes,
Like, that scene is exactly when I was like, this is why this crap is critically acclaimed.
yes. Death Note is good, especially the first part.
You can watch the first part and then not watch the second part, and you're fine.
Well, totally, because the first part is the better part. Hell, I'd
Like,
argue you can watch the first part of Naruto and not watch the second, and you're fine.
you just pretend that Sasuke killed Naruto. Stop the video there, right?
Yep,
And then you've done with Naruto.
yep. That's it. That's the end of Naruto.
You're done. Okay,
There's no
Naruto.
go and train with Jiraiya for, 3 years or whatever. Nope, just
Screw
dead.
that. Sasuke went to train with Orochimaru, and that was the end of Naruto.
Yep,
So, real talk, I've been saying that Shippuden should actually just be called the Uchiha Chronicles since middle school.
you're not wrong, because in Naruto Shippuden, if you're not Sharingan, you're trash.
Like, and uh, Naruto. Shout out to them not killing Might Guy or Choji
Yes.
after they immediately used instant death techniques.
Hmm.
Shout out to Rock Lee getting the shaft in Shippuden.
Same.
Like, he got 2 fights in Naruto and then was never heard from again. Actually, I take that back. He got 3 fights. He got versus the Sound Ninja with Sakura, he got Gaara, and then he got Kimimaru. And you know what happened in all 3 of those battles? He got his butt kicked.
Which is too bad because Broccoli was hype.
Yes, he had a half fight with Sasuke, but we didn't get to see him win. So he has an inconcluded match for his 4th battle. So we'll pretend that didn't happen. But yeah, that's why Rock Lee was hype.
So, since we're on Naruto, deaths in Naruto.
The only death that okay, so there's 2 deaths in Shippuden that actually matter, and that's Itachi and Jiraiya,
Yeah.
and neither of them actually sent any sort of actual real effect on the series, other than the fact that Naruto cried for an episode and a half, and Sasuke is just like, well, that's over.
And Sasuke is just like, I was manipulated the whole time.
God dang it, this makes 3 times now. Sasuke is just this is the point where Sasuke gets tired of everyone's crap and he joins up with the Akatsuki. It's like, I'm not gonna listen to you, Toby. Totally listens to Toby.
Shout out to Sasuke's origin just being I was manipulated the whole time.
Yes, that's the description of his origin. So, Grimmjow says most deaths are just a hug on your heartstrings. That's it. Well, you see, there is where you're wrong. because the death of Colonel Hughes, or actually Brigadier General, as in Fullmetal Alchemist,
Yep.
was actually very, very important to the story. Without that, we wouldn't have driving forces for Edward and Alphonse Elric. Heck, actually, that was even a driving force for Winry, too, because Winry was friends with the family.
Well, yeah, it was a driving force for Roy,
And then
indirectly a
since,
driving force for Riza.
yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
But
And then for those two like those two cops that hang out with Al and Alphonse that got framed,
yeah,
it was driving force for them because he was like senpai.
yep. Like the death of Maze Hughes was huge. When I would argue that the episode where that goes down is really when FMA kicks into high gear, and
Hmm.
like it just doesn't really let up after that,
Yes, like,
which is pretty impressive because that's like 10, 12 episodes into the series.
and Grimmjow's like, okay, so Grimmjow's defending himself, saying now, oh, well, I only met Naruto. Well, you see, the problem with Naruto is no one who dies gets character development. So it doesn't tug on your heartstrings. Like, you can say, oh, I was so sad for Asuma, right? But Asuma didn't have any relevance until the episode like he died.
Yeah,
And he was a driving force for Shikamaru for about 5 minutes. 5 whole minutes.
yeah.
Because there's only one scene where Shikamaru does anything, he's like, oh yeah, I completely planned this out because you killed my master.
Hmm.
Well, they try and fail. You mean Masashi Kishimoto doesn't care? That's what you mean, Cream Chow. Not they try and fail. So he has that 5 second lag, so it'll be a little bit before he hears us say that.
Okay, that's fine. Um, yeah.
Uh,
Uh, Naruto just likes to kill villains that aren't Orochimaru when they could be really useful and interesting later. And then, when Author Man feels bad, he just revives them as zombies,
yep.
which is low key just kind of a cop out.
So you know
Because
what's
he
funny?
literally just revives everybody.
There were zombies in a Bleach arc, and the way that they were brought back is way funnier because they're Frankenstein's created by Mayuri, and the other ones are just people that were killed, and then this chick just threw blood on them. So not necessarily everyone we knew. There was just some characters who had recently died, and then other characters who have been dead for like hundreds of years. So it was just like, man, screw just relevant characters. Reanimation is OP, let's be honest. Too bad everyone in the final arc of Naruto one-shot everyone who was reanimated except for Madara. Haku got one shot, Sasori got one shot, Deidara got one shot, the seven deadly swordsmen of the myth got one shot. Oh my god. Like, the only ones who even got like wrecked by them were like no faces or background characters.
Yeah,
Like, I've read that arc. That, like, well, at least the zombie parts of it. I didn't actually get to where Madara got really OP. But yeah, if you weren't Madara, you kind of sucked as a reanimated person. Like,
yes.
everyone got sealed. Itachi was like, "Oh, I can bypass the mind control because I have Sharingan," and then he died too. So again,
Yep. Shout out to Naruto just butchering villains and reviving them to butcher them again.
Neji's death was pointless. We both agree with that, and we also think that Neji would high key never sacrifice himself for Hinata and Naruto. Nonetheless, Naruto can apparently tank like mountain busting attacks, but apparently he couldn't have taken that one punch. Like, oh, also Tsunade can get like chopped in half, but she's fine. Freaking
Also,
Kage can be wrecked.
Neji is like my favorite Naruto character, and then he, dies like a bitch, and yeah, Shippuden wasn't even good in the first place.
Oh, poor Neji. He got Haku'd. High key, he got Haku'd.
Yes.
It's 'cause she's single. You mean Hinata? Well, high key, the author just really wanted to draw Naruto's children. Naruto's children are all actually Shadow Clone Jutsu, and they're still under Infinite Tsukuyomi. This was never real to begin with. This is still the episode where Itachi put Kakashi under the 72 hours. They never ended. Everything else is past that point is a lie.
Same. Anyway.
That was a discussion.
Naruto deaths.
So you know what's funny is that there's more characters alive in a series about death gods, aka Bleach, than there is in Naruto that are villains. Green Zhao's alive. Almost all the captains that were villains in season 1 are alive. Shark Tits is alive. Tons of Fracciones are alive. Like, the only Espada that didn't really have to die were like Ulquiorra after like the fight with Vassalor Ichigo, but you know he got his organs nuked, and he said he would die if he did that happened, so you know he had to die, or else shoddy writing, so he died. Though high key she should just ask Orihime to heal him, and I'm pretty sure she would have, and Ichigo would have agreed to, because Ichigo's like, I want to fight you on the same level you are, and instead of saying, oh, Orihime, heal Ulquiorra so we can fight, he said, chop off my arm and leg, because Ichigo has no foresight. Like, but now in the last arc, everyone died, but it's the last arc, so shh.
Yeah.
But mainly, it was just old generation characters, like Yama, the healer captain, Jushiro. Like, it just made it kind of like that was like paving the way for a new generation, essentially.
Anyway.
I was talking about Ichigo. I was talking about Ulquiorra getting healed by Orihime. And Ichigo wanted his arm and leg cut off when he could have just had Ulquiorra get his arm and leg healed. That's what I meant, Green Zhao.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Deaths in One Piece. So, no one dies in One Piece, just Ace.
Shout out to me being like, Ace is dead. I didn't even like him anyway.
I knew one girl who actually cared about Ace. And I you know what I specifically did? I got the Shonen Jump manga. Like, I have the Shonen Jump volume, right? I opened up to the page where it's like, One Piece chapter, big reveal, and just showed her the page, Ace dies.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, no, my baby. And I was like, I don't even know this guy.
And then immediately after that, you know, they go the really, really, really shitty backstory arc to attempt to make you care, and then immediately after that a time skip, and I'm like, I'm just done with this garbage. Jesus.
So, what they didn't do with Ace, what they did with all this... Okay, so each of the Straw Hats immediately got their backstories expanded on the episode they were introduced.
Mm-hmm.
Which made you actually be like, oh, okay, that's why they act like this, right?
Yep.
Ace was like, oh, he's Luffy's brother. That's all you need to know.
Yep.
Whitebeard died at the same time Ace died, and still no one cared. Roger was dead before the beginning of the series, but he was a setup, so why would you care in the first place? Brook's old crew. Brook is dead too.
Shout out to Brooke being one of the few Straw Hats I actually like.
Like, me reading Whitebeard's death was like, oh, you're not head captain Yamamoto.
Pretty much, yeah.
They really trying to push. Oh yeah, he's the leader of all these pirates. They loved him like a father, and I'm like, eh,
But we didn't love him like a father,
same.
you know?
Like, they just introduced him a couple arcs ago, but he didn't really do. Actually, they introduced him and Ace very early on in One Piece, right?
Yeah,
But I didn't say Brook had a bad filler episode after he joined, but whatever. Grimjow. Anyways, they introduced Ace and Whitebeard very, very early on, and then just don't say anything until, they become relevant again. And I'm
yeah.
just like, don't do that. Can't just introduce people. It's like Shanks goes to go talk to Whitebeard. Shanks just doesn't care. And Whitebeard's like, how dare you talk to me like that? And Shanks just still doesn't care. And I'm like, okay, Shanks.
Because Shanks is great. Yeah, I like exactly 3 Straw Hats, and I like exactly, I don't know, 5 One Piece characters. Um,
Oh,
when a series pulls, like, I don't know, I was reading a manga, right? So I don't know, we'll say 15 chapters of straight bullshit,
oh,
and I
okay.
didn't care about any of it. And then they're like, "Oh, everything's super different now." I'm like, "I'm done. See ya."
So, if anyone doesn't know what he's talking about, there's about like this really weird backstory for Luffy, Sabo, and Ace. Now, keep in mind, this is not referenced anywhere. There was no hint that someone in Luffy's childhood died at all, because Luffy was alone from the beginning. Actually, I take that back, because according to backstory, his grandfather was like a freaking marine, right? So he was raised by his grandfather for a whole 5 seconds, right? And then he's left with an Aristocat kid and this son of a pirate, right? So he hangs out with them, and they apparently vow to become brothers. One supposedly dies, and the other two are like, "Oh no, he died. Let's become pirates," right? So they both end up becoming pirates, and then apparently Blondie is actually alive, and so yeah, that was me poorly explaining it because I didn't wrap my head around that at all.
And then 12 seconds after that, they do a time skip.
Yep, and they're like, "Oh, so like let's fast forward 50 chapters. Remember that blonde guy we talked about who was dead? He's not. And you know whose powers he got? Ace's. This is Ace 2.0. Let's try again with him blonde this time. Now, okay, so me, I do not know much about One Piece time skip, so that's just about as far as my knowledge extends. So I hesitate to say anything further. But yeah, that's what I actually got from that. And I was like, so what I'm hearing is you just jumped to blonde Ace because black haired Ace is dead.
There you go. One
Now you
Piece
don't have
time
to
skip
watch
in a
One Piece.
nutshell.
Impel Down arc. Okay, so the thing I liked about that arc, the only thing, is that the poison guard just wrecked everyone's life.
Hmm.
Like, poison, super effective, v everything.
Yeah.
So, you know what's funny?
Hmm.
That guy that Luffy was beating up because he was the assistant, like, guard, he got promoted to full-time guard, and then poison guy got demoted. I was just like, but the poison guy's better.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Remember when Mihawk entered on screen? It was so hype.
Yes.
He showed up, destroyed the ship, and then that admiral guy was just like, "Oh God, he's back."
Mihawk is sweet.
is based off of Dracula.
But I can actually see that.
His name is Dracul Mihawk, and his eyes and skin were drawn to be like Dracula's, and that's why he has that weird, different otherworldly feeling, even though he's a normal swordsman.
Yeah,
That's
I
also why
get
he carries a cross, because insult to injury.
Hmm. Yeah.
So yeah,
Hashtag Mihawk is one of the 5 One Piece characters I actually like.
he's buddies with Shanks. He doesn't want to fight Shanks now that Shanks doesn't have an arm. I'm just like, ouch. Anti-cripple much? But Mihawk.
Hmm.
Ooh, Grimjow's saying something. Hype.
Hashtag fan.
God dang it. This is the 5th time he stopped typing. Okay. Deaths in Yu-Gi-Oh! So basically anyone who ever fought Pharaoh.
Same.
Like, off the top of my head, who had fought Pharaoh and didn't die was Kaiba and
Yes.
Pegasus.
Yes.
And then, if you count Yami Barakura dying, then, yeah, just them.
Um. Also, the people before, every freaking card game is a shadow game.
Oh.
You
Well,
know.
I'd argue there was more Yugi influence there, too, though.
But it was totally Pharaoh doing the dueling.
True. I did like it when, oh, wait, he says something. If anyone is, okay. Oh, he brought up JoJo's. We can't discuss that.
Yeah. We don't even that.
I'm sorry. But,
You would have to, talk to the people in the chat who have, a less attendance rating. You gotta talk to the slackers if you want a JoJo.
yeah. I think my laptop just restarted on me. That bastard.
Oh,
It's okay, Groomjow. Yeah, it's just me and Alex, never JoJo'd. Ever. At any point in time. So, what were we going to talk about? Let's see. Who else is... Ooh! Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh, in GX, no one, including the villains, dies. Well, okay, I take that back. There was that one guy who engaged in a shadow duel versus Jaden like an idiot and died.
hashtag don't even. Hashtag why would you even, shadow duel children's card games?
So okay. So this guy, the story arc was, oh, this guy has been killing people in shadow duels, and Jaden calls BS. He's like, there's no such real thing as a shadow duel. And do you know what ends up happening? These spirits get offended that this dude's fake shadow dueling, so they turn it into a real shadow duel.
Hashtag don't shadow duel.
Yep. And basically, it's like, so because you're an idiot, you ended up in the freaking Shadow Realm because you completely didn't have foresight.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh my! It needs to not do that. Okay, there we go. So, yeah, okay, it's live again. We got cut off for a couple seconds.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, because Annie tried to drop call because my laptop freaking did things.
Oh, okay.
Alright, so I'm gonna try to get back up on my laptop.
Okay.
Whew, okay.
So are we live or not live?
We're live. It said we're live again.
Oh, I wasn't looking at the call screen. Anyway.
Yeah. 5Ds, the villains died. But that's because Yusei just wrecks everyone.
Yeah.
Someone was saying to me that Yusei was actually the best Yu-Gi-Oh protagonist. And I was like, no.
If you don't count Pharaoh as the protagonist, I would say he's probably the best duelist
Mm-hmm. It's because he is. He's broken
because,
BS.
yeah, like the thing is, Pharaoh is just super broken.
Grimmjow, according to the vid, it went down. But yeah, okay, so we didn't lose any recording time.
Lovely.
Uh, alright. So, yeah. Um, I got my friend to watch Bleach, Naruto, and Yu-Gi-Oh! GX back in middle school, right?
Yep.
He adored all three. And
Yep.
I was like, and the one I had to pressure him into was Bleach. And when
Why?
I finally got him to watch Bleach, he's like, why is this better than Naruto?
Same.
So he commented that out of all the Yu-Gi-Oh protagonists he'd seen, he's like, Jesus Christ, Jaden has the luck of a god. So actually, Jaden has like the most losses that are relatively important to the series compared to any
Yeah,
other protagonist. So,
that doesn't actually surprise me.
and that's just because Jaden's actually just a high schooler.
Yeah.
So, for the first 3 seasons of GX, Jaden is a normal kid. And he's just fighting all this bullcrap that happens because it's Kaiba's school.
Yeah.
Um, so, I actually like Jaden and his deck. His elemental heroes are awesome.
Chaz it up.
Chaz it up. Chaz it up. Chaz was greatness.
Chaz is great.
I like how people thought he was actually going to be like Kaiba, and I'm like, who cares if he's not like Kaiba? Kaiba is Kaiba, we have Chaz.
Yeah.
Hate on Chaz all you want. Chaz is the Chaziest. Probably one of the better side characters.
I agree.
Um,
I mean, like, I have a real big soft spot for OG Yu-Gi-Oh, but you know, I like GX. 5Ds is okay. Um,
the best part about 5Ds were the turbo duels. Like, those were so cool. Way better than we
yeah.
thought they sounded.
Anyway, Yu-Gi-Oh though, I'm actually really strongly thinking about buying